Happy Transgender Day of Visibility. I'm Aria Salvatrice, your weird auntie from France, and to answer your first question now, I don't know what the word femme means. Sadly, no synthesizer or video games today. Hear me out about some heavy topics. Every content warning applies on this one. I already wrote a huge article about this months ago with all the receipts, thousands of readers, I made a lot of noise, I caused a lot of well-deserved trouble, and I faced zero efficient reprisal, besides angry messages. Link in the description if you want to read the long version, so this is the super quick summary today. Then I will tell you about the next episode. Mastodon's trust and safety attending a conference run by a transphobe. Let's start. Losing Twitter to a divorced guy was a monumental loss for queer people worldwide. Many of us went to the Fediverse, Mastodon and Sharky and Akoma and PeerTube and a lot more social apps. Beautiful thing, you can join in a big server, but you can even host your own at home. Any e-waste you find on a street corner will do. I have my own server. It only really connects to queer communities, no influencers, social games. I don't even know how many followers I have. I just make incomprehensible little shit posts for the little gays in my phone. And yes, on my server, likes are called uploads. The people from the USA, they can't abide us having a good time. They have to gentrify our gay bar, force trust and safety. Scare quotes on this one, always, every time. The big gentrification play recently was centralized server block lists that sneak in malicious entries. They were pushed by a non-profit named Nivenly, known for generative AI art stuff at the time, and EFTS, a company that is Mastodon's self-appointed trust and safety. I wrote about them at length. They were funneling tech money and institutional legitimacy towards a project to add a default block list into Mastodon. The creator of the block list, it goes by Row and other names, and earned 6 figures of US dollars for this project from big tech benefactors. The list was advertised as a toolkit to keep people of color safe on Mastodon. To this end, the list contains a lot of white nationalist scum who wear the swastika on their lapel, some garden variety spammers, a bunch of pedophiles who use euphemisms to admit they're pedophiles, and every queer server they could. I looked through the list. It looks like a dating site for trans girls. It was a very ineffectual attempt at deplatforming us, but a great attempt at open provocation. And yes, people took the bait. Every time a trans woman pointed out that super blatant fact last 2 years, she will face vicious harassment, she will face accusations of being the worst racist Nazi on earth. Every time her server administrators will be violently pressured by backroom politics to ostracize her into leaving the network, threatening to sever social connections between people entirely unrelated to those incidents as a weapon. Row, the creator of the block list, loves to call anyone making reasonable criticism white queers. Here's a dozen instances of the word white queers used against specific people within 2 months. And if you dig, the people targeted were not actually white, it's just a lie. We have receipts of Row viciously attacking black trans women, outright denying their blackness. One of his friends made death threats toward a queer person. He just plain endorsed those death threats. We have receipts of him saying it doesn't have to respect queer people's pronouns. Some crank in his 50s always picking fight against women in their early 20s. We have 4 years of receipt of attacking queer people, textbook Darvo stuff, narcissist abuse, tons of receipts on my page as always. If you dig further, you'll find the block list of trans women are assembled from people who copy-paste random lists found on Discord without any vetting, and at their root, the lists are mostly a record of the prior disputes of a single Mastodon server owner. Fee inherited a large community, Mastodon.art, and Fee weaponizes its large user base to have all sorts of pitiful court intrigue. Fee takes pride in bullying queer developers of Fediverse software into abandoning the network they helped creating. Fee does stuff like trying to deplatform Jewish journalists for being supposedly anti-Semites. Fee attempted to ostracize Brazilian leftists fighting against Jair Bolsonaro. Fee fabricated claims of anti-Semitism to frame a trans woman who writes about anti-colonialism. Fee shared a neo-Nazi's call to send fake reports against the mutual aid links of trans women. All the damn receipts are on my site. And Fee sells African and Oriental art while being even whiter than my white ass. Yes, it's fair flipping the bird to a queer critic, I'm showing. We call Fair the apartheid pixie because Fee settled to South Africa as a grown white adult who should know better, though Fee is now barred from re-entry as Fee immigrated illegally. Projecting Fair's own sins as a clueless colonizer on everyone Fee can hold social power over. In the same way Fee likes to speak on behalf of people of color, Fee likes to use Fair's non-binary identity to speak on the behalf of transgender people. But whatever pronouns Fee uses, Fee does not have that legitimacy. This is who writes the Mastodon blacklist of bad queers. At this point, the blacklist project has been fully disgraced, if only because the creator, Ro, ended up attacking almost all his allies, causing some of them real ugly mental health crises. But Mastodon's Trust and Safety, EFTS, they still openly champion the gay-bashing blacklist, zero complexes when everyone knows it's nothing more than this big middle finger shown to trans women. And yes, Mastodon's Trust and Safety, EFTAS, they don't actually have the full blessing of the Mastodon company in Germany to call themselves its Trust and Safety officially. It's more like a freelance police kind of arrangement, but less funny. And let me tell you why it's so damn personal to me. There was a Mastodon tech influencer guy last year, generic white guy whose web technology work I really respected 20 years ago. He was picking a pointless fight against fellow survivors of rape. He had his Mastodon moderators delete the replies of any woman who told him to fix his heart about sexual violence. Many women who are survivors of rape and said so clearly. And by the way, his server is called Achyderm, run by Niven Lee, that AI art company that championed the blacklist. So, I wrote the tech guy to a professional channel, told him very politely to stop being a pig. He took the life lesson poorly, to say the least. So, we have the blacklist creator, Ro, entirely unprompted because he sure as hell had no business whatsoever voicing opinions on the topic of rape as a man entirely unrelated to the incident. He takes the mic to comment and say, yeah, Achyderm is AI big tech supporters. They did the right thing deplatforming survivors of rape because the survivors of rape is so. They were bad actors. Survivors of rape were non-bigots. Survivors of rape were not safe for black and brown people. For survivors of rape latch into situations like these to cause division and more harm. He just wanted to make the story who survived rape about his Patreon. This is who our trust and safety champions. I challenge you to go read the receipts to see them in context and not wretch. While Ro has alienated almost all his supporters over the years, some are fully on board with his stuff. We had one Mastodon server administrator, we call him AK-47 guy, going on a 3-day crusade against dozens of LGBT servers, eventually recording a video against a single trans woman whom he called worse than Nazis. She's called Eris, but AK-47 guy was mocking her dead name. AK-47 guy said stuff like, Eris, I have something you don't have because you are a terrible person. I have friends, family, loved ones, real ones. I have community. In some way, Harris is worse than Kiwi Farms and Nazi. Ostracized, no other option for people like this. He recorded a 28 video about that trans woman, and it's too pathetic for me to post an excerpt, but it's still 9, I think. You know what kind of accusations they got on that woman? But, well, first she said, based. Yes, yes, she said based. Yeah, yes, she said based. This is the first accusation they got on her. It's all pathetic stuff like that. Another accusation they got on her is that she chided a man for his bad attitude by talking about her experiences with homelessness and with helping out the Los Angeles homeless community. I'm not joking. Oh, and John Pincus of EFTS, Mastodon's Trust and Safety, he looks old enough to be Harris' father. He was here taking pot shots against that Harris, that woman who faced harassment for years on the network, and is still here because that Harris is a much tougher bitch than me. Oh, and also, AK-47 guy and that woman Harris, they had never interacted even once before that. Also, after attacking Harris, AK-47 guy was using the Fediverse's community fire emergency alarm, FediBlock, to ask for $1,000 amounts in recurring mutual aid donations to go to therapy because of white women. I am not making this up. You know why he's called AK-47 guy? It's because he was threatening to kill feminazi trans women with a Kalashnikov. I'm serious, just some weird men's rights incel shit, but if you want to lose brain cells, receipts and explanations are on my page, as always. Oh, and AK-47 guy, he was on the payroll of EFTAS at the time. They tried to conceal the evidence to delete the page, but you should have figured out a pattern by now. Queers always keep receipts. You know what EFTAS said when they were confronted about it? Oh, no, the guy, he was not actually an employee. He was a contractor. Yes, seriously, it was their reaction. A pointless technical accounting distinction that only matters in foreign civil countries without serious employment laws. I'm keeping it short and telling you only about choice incidents from this clique. There's more incidents where members of EFTS and their contractors attack trans women for no good reason. Plus, I shared more wild stuff about them in my article. Do you know that none of their board of directors actually use social media socially at all, except to spam ads to fake bot followers? All the receipts, 100 of them, on my article, and since I published it, EFTS, they've been complaining nobody wants to give them money anymore. They're crying they need $1 million to stay alive. When they say that, Queer Fedi celebrated the news. That's all for the recap. Now, in today's episode, no more room for subtlety. It concerns someone who's the textbook's transgender, exclusionary, radical, big honking scare quotes feminist. And you notice she has it for autistic people too. She thinks they have no agency. As for why I care about respecting autistic people, make a guess in the comment section. So, somehow the co-organizer of the Fedi Forum, Johannes Ernst, he says he only discovered that fact about Kalia Amlin yesterday. Bullshit! Look at the proceedings of the other conference of which she's a co-creator, the Internet Identity Workshop, to which Johannes Ernst is going to participate in a few days and to which he has participated many times over the years. They have known each other for at least 17 years. And is organizing a conference about social media without the due diligence of the most basic background checks? Supposedly, Kalia is no longer involved, to which I also say bullshit. You have no way to do all the paperwork to cut her financial ties to this paid conference in 48 hours. All he did was delete her name from the About page. Now that queer people have done the super basic due diligence that Mastodon's trust and safety was too incompetent to bother with, we're gonna pay close attention. Who has the courage to drop their participation? Who has the cowardice to drop the ball? And who has the rage to drop the mask? In particular, what people from EFTAS do Mastodon's trust and safety, because they're really starting to really accumulate the queerphobic incidents. I heard people say, okay, but EFTAS fights against child abuse. It's a much more important concern than LGBTQIA+ rights. Never mind the fact that they deliberately lump harmless queer women with child abusers in the blacklist they promote. Look, let me tell you, as someone who has personally sent a child rapist to prison for 20 years by my testimony and the support of a great lawyer, 20 years the rapist spent in prison in full. People who fight against child predators, I want them squeaky clean, spotless track record, highly educated about the topic, eager to listen, and eager to mend their rare mistakes. Not people who are complacent about sending death threats, not people who record attack videos against trans women, not people who conceal evidence of their blunders, not people who are complacent about siding against survivors of rape, not people who are complacent about rubbing elbows with TERF they didn't background check. Anyway, whatever people try to do to gentrify our historic gay village, whatever they try to do to make non-profit money at our expense, I'm not worried. Our haters ask for $1 million in donations to stay solvent, and with a single blog post, I denied them the chance to raise funds efficiently. Their trust and safety is animated by a raging anger, an aristocrat from the tech industry, granted economic privilege by the grace of God, is permanently at risk on social media to be addressed as an equal by a social inferior, a weird queer, an uppity disabled, a woman, a foreign POC, a dirty homeless. Meanwhile, we can just rig up a toaster to a neighbor's Wi-Fi to spin up yet another gay little server on the network and tell the tech aristocrats, "You're pathetic!" And we've kept receipts how pathetic you've been. You're treating our existence as something up to debate. What's just as up to debate is your career. And behind me taking the spotlight, there's a bunch more anonymous allies doing the OSINT to see who's clean and who's sleeping. We're also paying close attention to the other conference the TERF founded and will attend next, the Internet Identity Workshop. The Fedi Forum conference is cooked, but it's fine. My video was the Fedi Forum. It was the only talk you needed to hear, and I didn't even have to pay a TERF to deliver it. Thanks for coming to my talk on this fine Transgender Day of Visibility. I'm also visible the rest of the year. If you like this video, don't subscribe, don't follow me on social media, I mean it, zero reverse psychology, stay away. I don't want to talk about haters forever. I want to use this gay little channel again to share my gay little songs and to talk about synthesizers and video games to fellow nerds. So goodbye.